expressed in this program by the host or guests do not state or reflect those of the company, its management, sponsors, or any entities they represent.
Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboard. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the 3 in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. Man, what's really good with y'all? Right? It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? My apologies, but we back. So we gotta talk about what's been going on in Cleveland sports, man. Cleveland sports been popping. I mean, this might be the livest offseason for Cleveland sports in history. And we talk about in a positive way. We not even talk about they ain't we back to the same old Browns and none of that. No, this different, okay? So let's start with the most recent news. The Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired guard Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz. Yes, let me say this again. Cleveland Cavaliers have successfully acquired Donovan Spider Mitchell from the Utah Jazz, all right? And in this trade, Cleveland sends Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and the recent number 14th overall pick, Ochai Agbaji, along with 3 unprotected first-round picks in 2025, 2027, 2029, and 2 pick swaps for 2026 and 2028 to the Utah Jazz. Now, I've been a big guy that didn't want to trade Colin. And I'm like, if we gonna trade Colin, you gotta trade him for somebody that's gonna actually move the needle. A lot of people would say Colin Sexton and Donovan Mitchell have similar games, not the same game. But Donovan is a little more polished in his game. He's not as fast as Colin. He may be a little more shiftier. I don't know about the ups. I think Colin more explosive, but Donovan may have more ups. I don't know how that works. But he definitely has a more polished dribble than Colin. And he's a couple years older. But man, he's a 20, 25 point per game scorer. Period. You know what I'm saying? He can pass, he can play make, and he can score in the clutch. He can take over games. Colin goes to Utah. And, well, before I get to Utah, let's give Kobe Altman his props. Because Donovan been projected to go to the Knicks for months now. Months. Donovan to the Knicks. Donovan to the Knicks. Donovan to the Knicks. Then all of a sudden, Donovan doesn't go to the Knicks. Now, what's funny is I thought about Danny Ainge and Kobe Altman's history. All right, the last time them two had a trade, it was Kyrie leaving Cleveland, going to Boston for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, the pick that became Colin Sexton, and I think a couple seconds or something like that. And it's funny now that Colin Sexton is going with Danny Ainge anyway. for 4 or 5 years later. I just thought that's too funny. But the Cavs team looks really good, and one of the big reasons I like this trade is because it gave everybody on the team defined roles. Before this trade happened, we were all trying to figure out who was going to play what and who fit good where outside of the main three: Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Was Kerr gonna play the 2 or 3? Was he come off the bench? Is the core gonna start to come off the bench? But now with the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell, Garland gonna play the point guard, Mitchell gonna play the 2 guard, Allen gonna play the center, Mobley gonna play the power forward. All right, so you virtually got stars, all stars, very good impact players in your backcourt and in your front court. So now it's just about your wing position, right? And I think this trade solidified that Isaac Okoro is going to start at 3. You hear a lot of people say Isaac Okoro should be a 2, but he doesn't have an offensive game. He like 6'4". Man, Isaac Okoro like 6'5", 6'6", with like a 6'11" wingspan. Dude got ups. Dude like 225, 230. And that is a small forward in this league. Okay, I don't know who told you differently, but that is absolutely a small forward in this league. Now, I think it's gonna be really interesting with this lineup, because for a fact that the starting backcourt can get you 40 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Both of them can get you 20. All right. Allen and Mobley could get you about 30 and 20 a game. You know what I'm saying? 30, let's say 30 and 15, right? 30 and 16. All right. And Allen and and Mitchell and Garland can get you about, let's just say 40 and 17, right? Okay. So that's about 70 points. You know what I'm saying? Good amount of rebounds. And good amount of assists from your starters. That's not even including the 3 position where an Okoro could, if Okoro played very good D. So you looking at it as, if he can give you 15 with his defense, he can add 4, 5 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? He can add 3, 4 assists. You're looking at a very, very dangerous Cleveland team, knowing that you got to start a lineup that can get you close to 100 points any game, every game. And then they coming off the bench with a Rubio. He won't be back till next year, till next calendar year, which is 2023, about 6 months. But you got Rubio. You bring Karras off the bench now. You got Chetty Osman still. You got Kevin Love, and you got Robin Lopez. Bro, this is a playoff team. Okay? This is a playoff team. All right? And roles are really defined. Because Pete, Garland gonna play the point. Mitchell gonna play the 2. All right. But even in role defining, right? Garland is the shooter that spreads the floor but can't facilitate. All right. He is the guy who gets everybody involved. Jarrett Allen is the rim protector who rebounds and can play above the rim. All right. Mobley is basically your superstar in the making. You know what I'm saying? He's going to ultimately end up being the best player on your team, 2-way player. Donovan Mitchell was the scorer. You know what I'm saying? Isaac Okoro would be the lead perimeter defender. All right, so with the way they play, teams going to be trying to get them, trying to back your little guards down. But I think this is going to be a problem. In doing that. Donovan and Garland will be able to play the pass lanes really well. Mobley and Allen going to be able to defend the rim at a high level. And I think it's just all going to work for the way JB Bickerstaff plays the team. But as we looking at the lineups, right? You know, Garland gonna start at the 1, Rubio gonna start at the backup 1, and Neto is the third point guard, right? So then you got Donovan Mitchell playing the 2, and Karis LeVert backing him up at the 2. So your shooting guard slot is really defined. You got Okoro playing the 3. You could bring Lamar Stevens in to play that 3, or you could bring Dean Wade in to play that 3. On top of that, at the 4, you got Love. You got Mobley starting with Love backing him up. And then you got Jared Allen with Robin Lopez backing him up. All right. So Cleveland team is kind of deep. Now, the questions that people gonna want to know, not the biggest questions, but just the small ones. Like where does how does this affect Dylan Windler? A guy that a lot of us, I guess a lot of us, everybody been wondering what he gonna do. How can he fit on the team? I think he has a nice IQ level. I think he has a really good jump shot. And I think he's a great team basketball player, defensively and offensively, but defensively for sure. And he like 6'6". So I can see him being the third 2 guard. You also got Isaiah Mobley, who they drafted. And I believe Isaiah Mobley is going to be like the tweener between the 4 and 5 on end of the bench side. But nonetheless, like I say, this trade gave everybody defined roles because all the players that got traded to Utah didn't have a defined role. We didn't know what Collar was going to play. Was he going to start at the 2 or come off the bench? We didn't know what Laurie was going to play. Was he going to start at the 3 or was he going to be the backup 4? We didn't know where Ochai was going to fit because you didn't know what you was going to do with Karis, Okoro, and Sexton. It was hard to say what you could do with Ochai. As far as the 5 draft picks, man, fuck them picks. Cleveland been picking the top of the draft for how long? Man, we don't give a fuck about them picks. We give a fuck about the players, all right? The players we got is a core nucleus that's going to be playing together for years. Donovan Mitchell, 25. Jared Allen, 24. Isaiah Mobley, 20, going on 21. Okoro about to turn 20 or 21. Garland, 22. You know what I'm saying? So this team, I mean, they could literally be playing together for the next. They definitely gonna play together for the next 3 seasons. But this could be 5, 6, 7, 9 seasons that these guys play together. You know what I'm saying? So the continuity gonna build. They're gonna keep getting better every year. I will hope nobody expects them to go to the finals this year. But it's not impossible. I mean, because anything is possible in basketball, right? Get the ball to bounce right, people get hot at the right time, people get cold at the right time. Anything can happen. But I think about the last time Kobe Altman made a trade with Danny Ainge. And even though the Cavs did have LeBron James, they still went to the finals that year. You know what I'm saying? History always had parallels with the present. So, could that be one of those years? Could it be? I mean, after fleecing Indiana last year, and what I mean by fleecing Indiana is we traded Ricky Rubio in a conditional first-round pick lottery protector to get Karis LeVert. We end up getting Karis, keeping Karis, getting Rubio back, and then keeping the first-round pick and getting Ochai. So basically, they flip Ochai and turn it into Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, Kobe Altman trade game is retarded. Okay? But the Cavs look really good right now. We talk about exceptional right now. 14 players. People keep asking what they going to do with the last roster spot. Nothing. They have no reason to do anything. That spot is just in case somebody get injured, Lord forbid, somebody, whatever the case. That's an insurance spot because Cleveland is now an attractive place to play. All right. City conditions mean a lot to where people want to go play at, but the players you're playing with means a lot too to players, to other players. So the fact that people looking like, damn, I can go play with all these young guys. I understand why people think LeBron James may come back, but he ain't coming back, not for this team. And if he do, it'll be 3-4 years from now if he's still playing. All right. But damn these Cavs, boy. And I mean the Cavs kind of needed to make a move. After Atlanta got DeJounte Murray, Brooklyn made the moves they made with the core they got back. PJ Tucker going to Philly. And them getting Daniel House and Anthony Melton. Toronto gonna come back and try to do something. I ain't as high on Toronto as everybody else is, but I do like their squad. The Cavs need to make a move. A lot of the good teams are getting better. So now the Cavs have a top 5 team. I think if the Cavs play like they played last year, the Cavs could end up with a number 1 seed. And understand this, Donovan Mitchell had a Utah Jazz team where he was the only consistent true scorer. You had Clarkson who gonna come in and light it up, but that's not every game. You know what I'm saying? And Donovan Mitchell had that team number 1 in the West multiple seasons. I think 3 out of his 4 seasons right now, Utah done had a top seed. At least 2 for sure. They didn't have a top seed. So this guy can be the number 1 scorer on a top team, on a contending team. Now, can he be the number 1 scorer on a championship team? But does he really need to be that much of a scorer over here? Is that the only thing that he needs to bring to help this team? Because he's not, listen, Garland, Mobley, Mitchell could all put up 25 in a game. Any given game. Even Allen could get you 20 and 20 some games. All right? So, these boys, they going to be giving the league problems, y'all. I don't know if y'all understand. They going to be giving the league problems. You talk about the ankle breaker group in the backcourt. And then no layups in the paint. Boy, it's so real. Defense for the starting lineup is going to be an issue with the 2 guards. But when you coming off the bench with guys like Rubio, Karras, Chetty, or Lamar Stevens or Dean Wade, you got enough defense to sub in to help with your primary scores. Because make no mistake about it, Mitchell was the number 1 scorer. Garland is now the number 2. When it all comes together, though, Donovan will be 1, Mobley will be 2, Garland and Allen will be 3. And I think that's how it should go. Because as much as I like Garland, I just think he's more effective when he's not the number 1 option. And I don't think I ain't putting a ceiling on him or nothing because ain't no telling what this man could turn into. He only 22. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, him being the 3rd option is good because that means your team is deep and lethal. To come off the bench with a Karis LeVert that could just go ham at any time, and then you got him with Ricky Rubio. And I understand how important Ricky Rubio was to the team last year and how much better Chetty Osman and Kevin Love played with Ricky Rubio out there. The half-court offense for the bench unit is going to be something crazy, because Rubio going to move. You got Love, you got Robin Lopez, who are veteran and know how to move. You know what I'm saying? It's really going to be nice with these Cavaliers, bro. They're going to have to put some respect on Cleveland's name. Now, we still about 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from the start of training camp. And preseason games start in about a month, 5 weeks, something like that. So, we're going to have a lot more time to talk about it and bring it in. But right now, man, these Cavs is making moves. They are setting the precedent in Cleveland. I like it a lot. I really hope Mobley turned up this year. He was 14-8 last year. I think it's conceivable that he could jump to 19-9. You know, he could hit 20-12. Imagine Mobley giving you 20-12, 4, 5 assists, and two blocks and 2 steals a game. All right, DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you people in the podcast at, feel free to come in, join in, hit that link. You got some things you want to say, get involved in the conversation. Definitely come on. But these Cavs, though, boy, I was so proud to hear that about these Cavs, boy. That was just so raw. Donovan, and then what's crazy is Donovan Mitchell was on a golf course when he heard it. And from the stories I'm hearing, when he got the notification or the information about him being traded to Cleveland, he was happy. Now, this is going to start a lot of conspiracy theories because him and Garland was just playing in the Miami Pro-Am, and they was going ham. You can catch that footage on YouTube. So people could say this is probably in the works for a minute. We got to talk about how savvy Kobe Altman is. And people want to know why New York didn't make the trade. All right. For one, man, Danny Ainge was trying to go up and all up in New York. They wanted 6 draft picks plus. They wanted 6 draft picks, 3 unprotected. Plus they wanted like Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quigley, RJ Barrett. Like they were just trying to rob New York, bruh. So I'm actually glad New York ain't make the trade because you was gonna bring Donovan Mitchell over there and it was just gonna be him, Brunson, and Randall with Mitchell. If I'd have been Donovan, I'd have been pissed. No, you wouldn't have just sent me to this weak ass team. All right. Now I seen a report earlier that said Utah supposedly sent him to Cleveland out of spite. You want to go to New York, we're gonna send you to Cleveland instead. But what I don't think people realize is that like Cleveland a legit raw team. So you really did him a favor by sending him to Cleveland versus New York. You know what I'm saying? Because he coming over here with guys that he can grow and play with for years to come. You know what I'm saying? This is so real. Oh my God, Cleveland, boy, they looking nice, okay? But even with all that going on, like I said, Cleveland has had one of the most entertaining, headline grabbing off seasons. And that's just for just Cleveland sports, period. You know what I mean? You had the whole Deshaun Watson thing. You got the Guardians going ham. They seem to be cooling off a little bit, but for the most part, the Guardians going ham. And then you got these Browns. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they talked about the Deshaun shit for how long. Donovan now is really bringing headlines. But in saying that, the Browns play this week, y'all. We are about 6 days from kickoff. The Browns versus Baker Mayfield. If you ask most of the sports media, they're going to say it's the Browns versus Baker Mayfield. All right? Us people in Cleveland is laughing because we like, what y'all think y'all about to get out of this man? Don't get me wrong, I ain't no Baker hater. But as far as last time I checked, Baker can't read defenses. And the last time I checked, we had 2 dominant defensive ends that could take over games. So for a guy who has happy feet in the pocket, a guy who, struggles to hit the open man or take what the defense gives him. I just think I just find it interesting that people really think, come on, phone, with this BS, bro. What are you doing? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sharing and doing little stuff on my phone, so excuse me. But listen, all right, 53-man roster cuts has happened. We down to 53 players. The Browns recently, was it today, yesterday and today, they brought in a couple guys. Tight end Jesse James used to play for the Steelers. They bringing him in, I guess, as a vet guy to play that third tight end for him. A blocker who has some decent hands, can move around the line, which is cool because I'm pretty sure David and Njoku are going to be featured a lot as a receiver in this offense. So having another guy that can take some of that blocking punishment will be key. And then, we still got a few things coming on with the offensive line. Nick Harris down. Jack Conklin still returning from last year's injury. Chris Hubbard returning from last year's injury. Hustling in his second year. But they brought in over a veteran, Joe Hay. And, he's going to help in that tackle room. So, that should be pretty good. You got a couple veterans down there. Pochich, who is the starting center now, I think he's going to play really well, in my opinion, especially when you playing between Wyatt Teller and Joe Bitonio. Boy, that should be great. But, this game against Carolina, this is a highly anticipated game. The NFL will be on some trash. Baker Mayfield versus the Browns, right? For sure, Bobo. Cal, Bobo, I'm going to join you shortly. For sure. Definitely do that. This damn, man, I'm pumped for this game, but not because of the opponent. This Cleveland Browns team, there's things I need to see. All right. Now on the Twitter Spaces, I chopped it with a couple of homies. Shout out to the Browns, to the Cleveland Twitter Spaces that be going ham. But this it's some things I need to see from Cleveland before I set myself up. All right. The first thing I need to see is them win an opening game. They got to win the first game of the season. I don't care who it is. I don't care that it's Carolina and that just add incentive. Cleveland needs to win the first game of the year. All right. Another thing I need to see from Cleveland is the personnel usage, the situational play call, the ability or the focus on purposely creating mismatches to your advantage on the offensive end. Ain't got to defense yet, just on the offensive end, right? You got Jacoby Brissett in here, who is a polished veteran. And why do I say polished veteran? Because he is not turnover prone. He makes good decisions. He hasn't had the best teams to showcase his talent on, but nonetheless, he showcased his talent very well. He has number one options in Amari Cooper, David Njoku at tight end, the two-headed monster at running back with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and he should be able to really make an impact. Nobody really knows how he's going to play in this offense or what it's going to look like. But from the play sets I've seen Stefanski using a little bit, some of the motion things he's doing to, get the defense to tell on himself whether they run in man or zone. I think Jacoby gonna thrive, bro. In my mind, I think the Browns will go 8-3 in these 11 games. But it's just, before I really jump on that and be like, damn, bro, they really gonna do it. Like I say, it's things I gotta see. You know what I'm saying? Um, how will Amari Cooper get opened up? You know, how will the special teams play? To me, I'm more concerned about the special teams than I am the offense and the defense, because special teams is such a critical part of football, and a lot of people don't really understand it. Field position matters. So when you got a punter, no matter where you are on the field, that can back opposing offense up to bad field position, man, that's a plus for your team, and it puts your defense at an advantage. When you got a kicker who can be consistent and get you 3 points, once you get past the 50, that is a weapon. When you got return game that can give you great field position or take back, a good returns, in critical situations, a random return for a touchdown, that puts you up or puts you back in the game. A 40, 50-yard punt return that puts you in the red zone, you know what I'm saying, after a good defensive stop. Things like that really help, and it help with your play calling, because now, when you take advantage of turnovers and field position and things like that, you don't necessarily have to go into your scripted plays. You know what I'm saying? You could jump into your situational plays. Okay, these are my red zone plays. So now I could, turn it up with this receiver or this running back or whatever. I can bring some things in and catch them off guard. But that special teams, I need that. The penalties got to cease. We need to play a lot of disciplined football. A lot of disciplined football. I need to see these guys playing smart. Not falling for the fake counts, not getting unnecessary penalties when it don't help the team. I need to see them play as a cohesive unit. And I think, we should see a big change in that, because, like I said, a lot of these guys have been playing with each other 4, 5 years, 3, 4 years. Even some of the newer guys, outside of the rookies this year, have been on the team 2, 3 years. So it's a lot of continuity, a lot of familiarity coming back with this team. If this defense picks up from where it was last year, y'all, it's going to be a problem. Because if you're looking at this Carolina game, right? So Carolina got a few receivers, Robbie Anderson, Terrence Marshall, DJ Moore. They just brought over Laviska Shenault. They got a young guy over there that they've been really high on, which is fine. But you do remember that Cleveland got 5 legit starting corners, right? With Ward, Denzel Ward, Greed Williams, Greg Newsome. You got AJ Green and Martin Emerson. These guys play. These guys are really, really good. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of situations, they could be shut down corners. That's crazy. So then you got your safety room, right? With John Johnson III is the leader, Pro Bowler. Grant Delpit, who's really going to come into his own this year, I believe. You got Richard LeCount down there. You brought back Ronnie Harrison. But then you got the undrafted guy, DeAnthony Bell. And I think he really going to have an impact on the team's special teams and coming into situations where he can help create turnovers and things like that. I'm really looking forward to see how this secondary plays. The defensive line going to be an interesting thing. All right. I think it's going to be Jordan Elliott. You know what's so crazy, y'all? I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Elliott and Tommy Togiai started. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Togiai got a lot of reps. Because when he was in during the preseason, he did really good with the run stopping. Or soaking up 2 blockers and allowing the linebackers to come in and fill those gaps. And that's something that the Browns need on that defensive tackle room. They need 2 guys that's gonna come down there and make 3 to 4 guys have to block them, or at least the interior 3 guys have to block those 2. So that way Miles and Davian get one-on-ones on the outside, and it opens up a lot more blitzing holes for whether it be a safety blitzing or a corner blitzing or a linebacker blitzing. Just having that type of control with your defensive line really help your front seven be a lot more attacking. Linebacker game, it's going to be JOK, Anthony Walker, Sione Takitaki, Jacob Phillips. I think Jacob Phillips and JOK going to get a bulk of the reps. But, in all fairness, Sione Takitaki and Anthony Walker are veterans. Sione Takitaki is the most tenured linebacker in our room. And he's really impactful on the run. So I expect him to really have a lot of tackles this year, especially when it comes to in the running game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got a lot of tackles for loss. But I would like to see Sione Takitaki more involved in the blitz game too. I think he's the great build of 6'4", 230, 240. If you want a guy like that blitzing, for sure, putting havoc on the quarterback. This Browns team, man, it's really talented. Arguably one of the most talented rosters in the league. All right. And that's not a reach. That's reality. And that's before you even add Deshaun Watson back into the mix. So just for this game alone with the Carolina Panthers, I really want to see how the linebackers play against Christian McCaffrey. That's going to be one. And it's going to be about Baker versus the defensive line. I don't think Carolina receiver is going to have a great day. And I think this is the game where the rest of the league sees why the Browns wanted to move on from Baker. All right. Baker might come out in the first half and he might be hot. And he might look good. He might have a couple good plays. I don't think that's impossible. But Baker in the second half is horrible. Baker in the fourth quarter is even more terrible than that. All right. So unless Carolina is going to build a 40-point lead in the first half, I don't really see how Baker is going to lead them to some type of victory. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see it. But I feel like too, like man, this Browns team is ready to tee off on Baker, bro. All the shenanigans that went on with him in his 4 years over here, and a lot of these guys played with him his whole tenure over here. A lot of guys didn't really want to return back to the team or play for the team if he was the starting quarterback over here. Bobo, what's good, baby?
How's it going, man?
I'm cooling, man. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoying day off.
I see. It's still sunny over there where you at. I'm getting down here to the to sunset time. You look like you still enjoying a good sunrise.
So far, yeah. You in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm over here in Texas.
Oh yeah, that's why the light looks so good over there for sure,
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Yes, sir.
So man, what's on your mind, Bobo? What's good, man?
Hey, man, I was listening to you talk about them Cavs, and their latest transaction and addition to the team and subtraction, obviously. I just was listening to that. You hit everything spot on, man. I don't really have much to really add on, to be honest with you. I'm just looking forward to the regular season, and we'll see what it do.
All right, so let me build off that since I got another intellectual mind on here. Let me build off that. All right, so Garland averaged 21-8 last year. With the addition of the Donovan Mitchell, what do you think his growth could be like next year?
Are we Donovan Mitchell or
no, just Garland? We're gonna go player by player. I'm gonna start with Garland first.
I mean, how can I? In my opinion, I guess it can go either way, right? I'm hoping. Well, see, I got a different take on this.
Go ahead.
My take is Donovan Mitchell came from Utah, right? I think it's easy to say that he was the best player on the Utah Jazz, right?
That's a fact.
And I think we can kind of hit where their ceiling was as far as that team, right? Like, I think their best year was was the uh
The bubble year.
the bubble year, right? I think they made it to the second round, I believe, or did they make conference finals once? Maybe was that the year
No,
they went?
I think that was the year after the bubble that they went further. The year in the bubble they lost. I think it was first round to Denver when he had that shootout with Jamal Murray.
Okay, I'm about to pull it. I'm about to pull up.
And I think that next year, they went to the second round. I don't think
Okay,
they made it to the conference yet.
no, they have not. Their best finish was after the bubble year, and they went to the second round, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is we are gonna be in a good spot if Donovan Mitchell is our second best player. If he's our best player, I think we're still gonna have some growing to do. I guess what I'm trying to say is if Garland or Mobley, I hope it's Mobley, if they're looking like if Mobley looks like he's the best player on our team, even though he only averages maybe 20 and 10, but we can tell if it wasn't for the other scores we had on our team, or he wasn't playing beside another big man, that he could probably easily be 24 and 12, something like that, then that's when Cleveland's going to be a problem, especially in the Eastern Conference. So that's my take on it. So I'm hoping that Mobley don't have a sophomore slump and actually take 2 steps forward in his growth and development coming, coming into his second year. So that's my take on it. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping at the end of the day, Donovan Mitchell doesn't end up being our best player by the end of the year. Or maybe that may not happen till next year. I don't know. But I think for us to go to where it's sky's the limit for this ball club, we gonna be set if Donovan Mitchell is not our best player.
Well, I think right now, he has to be our best scorer. That's what he brings to the table off top, and I think we need more of that, just not in the same way. So I'm with you on if he's the best player on the team, which I don't believe at all that he's the best player. I think he's the most proven on the team. I think he's the best scorer on the team, and I think that cachet and that respect he's built will help us. I do agree that him being the number 2 is the ideal for the Cavs to be a formidable opponent night in and night out. Because Mobley is such a mismatch. I'm with you on that. He is such a mismatch. All right. If you get him on a smaller player, he gonna back him down and shoot over. If you get him on a guy his size, he's more athletic, with a lot more post moves. He's faster. His IQ is up. But I don't believe right now that Mobley is going to take the jump that we would all like to see him take in year 2. So which is more where I like, where you like, if he doing this, but he looked like he could do more, I'm with you on that, because that means a lot. Because other teams see that too. Like, bruh, he doing this, and he ain't even getting as many touches as he could get. So I'm with you on that. I like Mobley. I think Garland is on a championship team. Garland is the number 3 scorer, in my opinion. I like Garland's game. I don't see it as a superstar game, though. When you say superstar, you're saying a guy that could be the number 1 option on a championship team. And I don't see Garland as a number 1 option on the championship team. However, though, I do see him as a lead guard. Like, a guy who can get you 10 to 15 assists every night. A guy that can hit you, 4 to 6 threes every night. That's the type of Garland I need to see. Now, as far as him expanding his game, he could take guys off the dribble and he could finish with either hand, but that's not what people fear. You know what I mean about Garland? They fear his jump shot. His jump shot set up his ability to be able to get into the lane. And when he gets into the lane, it's his facilitating ability that opens up his layup package. So I feel like if he starts going out of order, if he starts trying to finish at the rim first versus stretch the floor first, I think that's going to be a negative knock on his game. But I think with Donovan Mitchell, it allows him to shoot more because Donovan could play make. You know what I mean? He don't necessarily got to just have the ball. Like, I think Donovan could play off the ball and score well, but Garland off the ball scoring well does wonders because now you got to chase him off screens. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to watch 2-3 picks before he get it. My biggest interest, I won't say concern, my biggest interest about this lineup is Isaac Okoro. I think he should start at the 3. I think his game is ideal for what the other 4 players bring. But what you think about that?
I like it. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully he takes a step too. I mean, is this going to be his 3rd or 4th year?
3rd year.
It's going to be just his 3rd year. Okay, so he still got time to develop, right? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe this 3rd year is going to be what it takes for him. I believe he definitely can play the D. I'm not even too. I hear a lot of people complain about his offensive game. The biggest thing I've heard on Twitter is they tried to, be disappointed with his performance in that last playing game against Atlanta when he only scored 6 points. And if you look at that box score, he only shot the ball 3 times. He was 2 of 3. He was 2 of 3 from field goal range and 2 of 3 from free throws. So I'm going. Clearly, he didn't
get enough opportunities.
Yeah, he didn't get enough opportunities, right? So I don't like that narrative. That they say that he ain't he. Everybody's like, he needs to learn how to score. I get all that, but I think that he's definitely going to get some opportunities to score in spurts and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to him starting. I'm also looking forward to having a guy like Caris LeVert come off the bench who's going to be playing for his next contract, right? So hopefully he's motivated. So I'm looking forward to seeing Okoro start at the small forward position. I think he's going to defend well, and I think he's even going to show on the offensive end for him.
So as far as Okoro on the offensive end, right? What role do you think? Like, so, and I'll give you some examples so you'll see where I'm at with it. I looked at how the Nets use Bruce Brown, right? And I said to myself, could Okoro play that role? And I'm like, yeah, he could, set some screens, catch it in the middle. I don't know about his mid-range jump shot, but I just think he's a good passer. I think he's a better passer than given credit for. I think his offensive IQ is a little better as a team player than given credit for. But then I thought about Draymond Green. And Draymond is really the guy that I feel like he the role he could be on this team. Because, you look at what Draymond does for the Warriors. He is the half court point guard. All right. You know what I'm saying? He can get it. He can set screens where he need to, pass the ball to the right player where he need to, make the extra pass, get it to the hot player where he need to. But on the offensive side, Draymond not really a threat. Where Okoro, could up him in that sense, especially if his defensive game grows like we think it should. Okoro could have some type of breakdown dribble where he could take at least one guy off the dribble and get to the cup. Okoro is a high flyer. He can get above the rim. He can catch the lob. You know what I mean? And if his set shot keeps improving, I think that Draymond role with these two small guards and those two big guys, I think that's perfect for him. What you think?
I agree. I have to agree with you. One thing that that I find interesting over the years, and I feel like it started around. It really started, the LeBron years in Cleveland, right? When those type of offenses, basically, when you got a player as good as LeBron who needs to hold the ball, you got the players. Basically, everybody on the floor needs to be able to hit a wide open shot, right? Or
Right.
catch and shoot. And that's the biggest thing. Like I even saw a breakdown online, and it was breaking down Mitchell's and Garland's catch and shoot numbers and how their catch and shoot numbers was down versus their, you know, playmaking, take the guy off the dribble, creating their own shot type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So if a Coral can step into that and be a leader in that respect, he that starting lineup's gonna be deadly.
No, that that starting lineup, man. I mean, we legitimately got 4 potential All-Stars.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that though. Here's my fear. Even though we got 4 potential All Stars, neither 4 of those are in that superstar echelon. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest fear is when we play, if we got to face a Milwaukee, when you do that breakdown, who's the best player on the floor? It's easily gonna be Giannis, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Who's the second best player on the floor? If we go on paper today,
Probably Drew Holiday. I would say Drew Holiday. Even most people would say Chris Middleton.
okay, take your pick. But the point I'm trying to make is the second
We
best
got the
player
4th.
is a
Yeah,
Buck.
we got the.
Is a Milwaukee Buck, and the third best might still be a Milwaukee Buck. You see what I'm saying? And maybe then hopefully we're saying Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland or Evan Mobley. We're hopefully, so that's my biggest fear is even though we got a good solid lineup, when it comes to the best in the East, Milwaukee, Boston, even Philly, and even if they're at full strength and they're on the same accord, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I'm not counting Brooklyn out. A lot of people are counting Brooklyn out because Brooklyn hasn't done anything since Durant and Kyrie joined them. I'm not counting them out. So I'm same thing. If we play Brooklyn, we know Brooklyn's gonna have 2 better players than us. You know what I'm saying? Than us, which is gonna be you know, Durant and Kyrie. And if Ben Simmons is got his head in the game and he playing to his true capabilities, he's gonna make a run as the third best player on the court, possibly. So that's where that's what if you get what I'm trying to say.
No, I get. I'm with you. So look. So I guess I'm not all the way devil's advocate, but just looking at it, right? Let's take let's start with Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn starting lineup looking like it might be what Kyrie, Durant, Ben, Joe Harris, and
Claxton.
Nicholas Claxton. You think he started the 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what just happened? Okay, we back. There we go. All right, I synced it. I was like, what the hell? So I would look at it like this, right? Mobley will probably check Durant. All right. You could put Donovan and Garland on Harris and Kyrie. So then you would, I guess you would have a Coro checking Ben Simmons, and then it's Jared Allen and Nicholas Claxton. Now don't get me wrong, Brooklyn a good ass squad, especially on paper, and that bench ain't nothing to be sleeping on with Patty Mills and Royce O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? They added a couple other guys too, but I still like Cleveland in that matchup. Now I ain't saying they're gonna be dominant, but if you asking me, you know, when it comes to scoring between Donovan Mitchell and Joe Harris, I'm giving it to Donovan. If we talking about Kyrie versus Garland, yeah, I give it to Kyrie. But Garland still gonna, Kyrie's not an elite defender or nothing like that. Garland can still put points up on him. Our true mismatch on there is Jared Allen versus Claxton. So if we take advantage of that, Ben Simmons ain't showed the ability to shoot. So even though he's taller than Okoro's strong and athletic. So I guess it boils down to how dominant can KD be versus Evan Mobley.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Brooklyn, I just think, man, we got a chance. Now if we go to Milwaukee starting with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. They just got somebody else too. You got Giannis, Bobby Portis. Because I don't think Brook Lopez will start this year. And I don't really know who else on these.
So,
hold on. I see you look like you looking at it too.
Yes, I'm looking at their depth chart now. So, Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. And then they got George Hill, Carter, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, and Bobby Portis coming off their bench.
I like Bobby Portis. I like but I don't know I think our bench better than theirs.
Okay, I like that. I like that as well. I mean, because our bench can be a game changer for us.
And then two, with the defensive liabilities that the starting backcourt gonna bring. I mean, it ain't like we don't have guys to sub in. When Rubio does come back, he's gonna bring a lot more defense to the point guard position. Karis LeVert isn't an elite defender, but he's a better defender than Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? And he's a lot lankier. Lamar Stevens gonna come off bring D. Dean Wade gonna come off and bring some type of defense. Robin Lopez gonna come off and bring some type of defense. So I think defensively, especially for the way JB Bickerstaff scheme it up, as long as everybody healthy, I don't think we're gonna have a problem on the defensive end. So a lot of those upper teams, man, I would think we would have more problems with Atlanta than a Milwaukee or a Brooklyn. And I say Atlanta because now you're putting Garland and Mitchell up against Murray and Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? Now you got DeAndre Hunter, versus an Okoro. You got a Clint Capella versus a Jared Allen, and then a John Collins versus Evan Mobley. Now our bench better than theirs, but on the starting side though, I mean, you know what I'm saying, DeJounte and Trae Young proven. And Trae Young gonna be more off the ball. So it's like, as much Garland gonna be running people around, can he keep up chasing Trae Young around?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With DeJounte, DeJounte gonna, be able to take over a lot more point guard things. So if we're having to put, I definitely put this up. So we're gonna have to put Okoro on DeJounte. Then does that leave Mitchell on DeAndre Hunter? You see what I'm saying? So what you think?
Man, I think we'll match up well against Atlanta. I like it because I've been disappointed, especially last season. I've been disappointed with John Collins. Um, with his play, I don't know what's going on with him. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert like I watch a whole lot of their games. So I'm looking for I think we definitely have an edge against Atlanta. Um, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned mostly about the the top teams. You know what I'm saying? Your Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly.
And Philly. Hold on. Let's get the ball. Hold on. James, what's good, baby? I see the new box. Can you hear me? All right, so he gonna come back and click in when he click in. You feel me? Boston and Philly, great teams to bring up. Okay, so first, let me ask you to clarify: are them your top 4 teams? Boston, not in none particular order, but Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee.
No, hold on. You got 3. I'm not ready to put Brooklyn there.
Okay,
Hold
okay,
on,
understandable.
let me make sure. I'm looking at this. I'm gonna go off last year's standings to make that. Yes, I am gonna. Yes, that is. Yeah, I'm gonna go Boston,
You
Milwaukee, Philly, and Brooklyn as the top 4 teams on paper.
on paper.
On paper, heading into this season.
Okay, so who's 5 and 6 for you?
Cleveland 5, and I'm going to put Miami 6.
Before I segue to Miami, because I'm so glad you said that, I have a lot of questions for them. All right, Boston and Philly. Let's take Philly first. What do you think about the matchup starting 5 with them?
For Philly,
Yeah.
you're gonna
'Cause I'm
have
assuming
Harden and what's the one dude?
Maxey.
Maxey.
Okay.
Shoot, I'm not sure. They still got Tobias, right?
Right.
Yeah, so
And
still
PJ
got
Tucker.
Tobias and PJ Tucker. Here, let me
And
pull up the roster right
they
quick.
roster right quick, yeah.
Yeah, PJ Tucker, Tobias, and Embiid. If Embiid, and, my biggest fear with them is really is going to be, I think it's going to be a major match for us. Is Embiid if he's healthy. Um, you know, I'm not too scared of Harden as much as I would have been 2-3 years ago. I do like Maxey, and I know PJ Tucker is he fills a certain role. I'm looking at their bench. I mean, they
Like
bench all right,
Fort
but
Miles, DeAnthony,
yeah, they got
Milton,
yeah
Shake Milton,
Dunno House,
Daniel House.
Georgie Nang, and Paul Reed is the backup center.
Yeah,
So
see, this is where I feel like Cleveland got an advantage over a lot of teams in the East. Because of that bench, man. That Cleveland bench is so deep. All right. Because, the 5 veterans, then you still got Raul Neto, you got Lamar, Dean Wade, and Dylan Windler. And I feel like that bench is gonna definitely give a lot of teams problems. Now, out of all those teams, the one team that I think has a bench, if they're healthy, that can keep up or cause problems is Boston. Boston with Malcolm Brogdon now and Danilo Gallinari, and they still got Derek White.
yeah, but
Danilo
Gallinari,
ain't healed yet,
no, well they're saying that I guess he got in a second opinion and they're ruling it an ACL now.
so he might be out the year.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Well,
Yeah,
I would say that sounds like a slot for Carmelo Anthony.
yeah, they got it.
Um,
They got it on it's on ESPN. It says Gallinari tore ACL while playing for Italy.
yeah. So I hope they make the call of Carmelo. I mean, because that's an equivalent to me. You know what I'm saying? Carmelo over there, that'll probably be raw. That'd probably be crazy. Carmelo in the Rose Garden. But no, they let me see. Hold on, because my ass be putting the cart before the horse so much. Let me jump back to Philly. Um, that PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris combination is interesting because Tobias is really a good scorer. Like he really a good all around player, but he's a better scorer than he's been able to show. And I think adding PJ Tucker right there, virtually playing that 4 role, is gonna really open up Tobias on the offensive end. Um, so my thing is, who do we put on Tobias? Do we put Okoro on PJ Tucker and let him bang like that, and then let Mobley play Tobias? Or do we let Mobley play against PJ Tucker, even though that's a height mismatch? You know, it's a strength mismatch the other way.
I, I'm thinking either way works. I think either way could work, right? You said Okoro or Mobley,
Mobley.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I,
The,
I, I mean, I think there's some versatility there, right? I mean, because I feel like Okoro, yeah, I think Okoro is going to be better suited to guard PJ, I think, than
for sure.
Tobias. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll have to see what the situations call for. And I mean, I'm not even too busy worried about regular season.
This is a
I'm
playoff
mainly
matchup thing for you.
yeah, it's a playoff matchup for me, right? That's when you're done playing checkers and you're playing chess at that point. So um, I'm thinking we got an advantage there. When it comes to Philly, I think our biggest problem could be a healthy, motivated Embiid.
So wait, okay. So, and I guess I'm a homer right now, okay? Because I love Embiid. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted them to take him number 1 when they took Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I was like, because they was like, oh, he got the foot problem. I said, bruh, you got LeBron and Kyrie. Embiid could sit for a year. You bring him back in year 2 with them, it's murderous.
Yeah, but we didn't have LeBron yet when that draft happened. That wasn't that wasn't
Yeah, but the
that.
rumors was already circulating. But me, I was just saying like this. Listen, we has the Jonas Ilgauskas, all right? So we know how to deal with foot injuries. We know how to, we got one of the best medical facilities in the country. So we could have definitely helped him out there. I just think the play was always to go get Kevin Love, and they needed somebody that was gonna play from day one to make that trade. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So but I wanted Embiid. I like Embiid. Um, and he is a formidable opponent. But I think Evan Mobley is just as talented as him. I just think he's not as strong as him. Lucas, what's good, baby? I'm glad you chimed in. What's really good? Um, so against Philly, I like the backcourt matchup between our backcourt and theirs. I think it evens out a lot. Um, you know, I've always believed Jared Allen could hold his own against Embiid. That's not where I'm not concerned. It ain't like you can stop Embiid. So that's not what we're asking him to do. You know what I'm saying? But make him work on the other end, run the floor, have to account for the lob game or the fact that Jared Allen do got a few post moves and create maybe some foul trouble. I think that's cool. But Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro in that matchup have to get off. They have to get off because let's just say they put PJ Tucker on Isaac Okoro, right? Isaac Okoro has the foot speed to get by him. He has the athleticism to get above him. And he has the strength to really play to bang with PJ. Because Okoro's strong as he's strong. He ain't no weak body. But he is not the most effective dribbler on the one-on-one. You know what I mean? So, if we get a situation where, maybe he got to get kicked the ball and he find himself ISO'd on PJ, I need him to have the confidence to blow by him and take it to the well and force Embiid to have to come up and make a play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I gave you my top 6. Give me your top 6 for the Eastern Conference.
My top 6 for the Eastern Conference. My top team is Boston. I'm just a firm believer. If you the guy that went to the ship, you know what I'm saying, and you ain't decimated your team, you should get that respect. So I have Boston 1. People gonna call me crazy, but because of they starting 5, I actually got Atlanta 2. Yeah, because that starting 5, bro, you got 3 players on that starting 5. That's two-way players for a fact. DeJounte Murray is a two-way player. DeAndre Hunter is a two-way player. John Collins is a two-way player. All right. Now you're letting Clint Capella really just bang down there for lobs and boards and blocks. And Trae Young, which I think will be the scoring leader this year, is really going to light it up. So we talking regular season. Atlanta is my number 2. If Boston plays to their potential, I got Boston at 3. I mean, not Boston, Brooklyn. I'm so sorry. Brooklyn. I got Brooklyn at 3. It's just hard for me to see any team in the league put them on clamps if being running the point with Kyrie and Joe Harris and KD doing whatever they want on the wings. I mean, like, how do you it's very few teams that's got multiple players who can play one-on-one defense. And then you're asking them to play one-on-one defense on Kyrie and KD off ball. I don't know how they could do it. What hurts them, though, is Steve Nash. I'm not a true believer in the Steve Nash coaching coming from that Dan Antonio pedigree. But I'm just going to get them the benefit of the doubt and say they play firing on cylinders. I'm giving them 3. I got Milwaukee 4. Milwaukee is 4 because their top 3 is so formidable. But Chris Middleton is returning from injury, and I don't think they improved their bench. So I got them at 4. I got Philly at 5. As much as I like what they did by adding PJ Tucker, which I feel like allows the other guys to really score like they want to, and as much as I like Tobias, if Tobias isn't a 20-point a game per score on that team, I don't see that team winning over 40 games. And people will look at me and say I'm crazy, but unless you're telling me that James Harden is returning to the James Harden from Houston, I just can't take you up on it. You know what I mean? DeAnthony Melton is a good reserve. Shake Milton is a good reserve. But they ain't the top reserves in the league. Korkmaz play pretty good. Paul Reed showing like he could do something. But who are they scaring? So it's going to have to be a lot of staggered minutes between, Embiid being on the floor with Harden not on the floor, Harden being on the floor with Embiid not on the floor. And then you're talking about a guy that's close to 30 and a guy that's over 30. So I got them at 5. And then I got the Cavs at 6. And I got the Cavs at 6 because the Cavs don't have no synergy with this team yet. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of the squad been together for years. Karras is new, and Mitchell is new. and you could actually put Mobley and Allen in there as new. But the rest of those guys been playing together at least 3 seasons. So until I actually see them do something, right now on paper, I got them at 6. So just to recap, Boston, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, then the Cavs. Now you had Miami on the list, and I don't have Miami on the list. So let's talk about that a little bit.
I believe I had them at 6.
You did. So why you got Miami on the list in the top 6?
I mean, I think they're a playoff contender still. I mean, I see no reason to. I mean, obviously, I believe they had the best record in the
Last year.
Last year, they was the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah, they was 1 and Boston was 2.
So I mean, maybe we can agree that. Obviously, I think we're about to agree that that we expect them to take a step back. So I think we won't be too far off of there, but I think bumping them down from 1 to 6 based off of their where they were seated last year, and I don't remember where they got put out at. Where did they get bounced?
They lost in the second round
to Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they lost in the second round to Milwaukee. So, I mean, I just expect them to take a step back. I got a feeling that Father Time is going to catch up to Jimmy Butler. I think the investment they made in Duncan Robinson is going to continue to rear its ugly head. So I got a decline for them, but I still have them as a playoff contender though.
So I got them in the play-in for a couple reasons. My number one reason is their lack of acquiring a big man to play alongside Bam Adebayo. Okay? In this Eastern Conference, all right, you're talking about our Twin Towers in Cleveland with Giannis Portis and Brook Lopez gonna bring in Milwaukee. You got what Embiid alone gonna do in Philly. You still got Clint Capella and what's probably gonna be an even more emerging John Collins in Atlanta. All right. Now they might have some leeway with Boston, but I mean when you sit Tatum and Robert, and they got Robert Williams and Al Horford still. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's another problem for you because even if you put Bam on 1, he can't check all 3. He definitely can't check 2 at a time. You know what I mean? So because I feel like the big man playing the East and got a lot better, you know what I mean? And then you still got Paulo Banchero who gonna be a formidable guy, and I ain't saying the Magic gonna do something crazy, but he gonna be formidable. Let me see. Who else just made it? Who else? You still got Vucevic down there in Chicago. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying Vooch is the biggest guy, but Vooch gonna give you problems. So if Bam Adebayo got to check Vooch, then and Vooch stretching him out, who protecting the paint when DeMar DeRozan come down? When Zach LaVine come down? When Ball come back? When he come down? If you bring it Bam out the paint, who protecting it? So, and you mentioned the Jimmy decline. And I ain't going to say Jimmy super declining, but who's his Robin? If he's Batman, which I don't think Jimmy is a Batman, but if Jimmy's Batman, who's his Robin? Is it Tyler Herro? Is it Bam Adebayo? How does Kyle Lowry play? Can he play a whole season? What happens with Victor Oladipo? Does he really come out his bag this year? So for me, and then you mentioned Duncan Robinson. I think as a shooter, Duncan Robinson will have a comeback year. But my thing for Duncan Robinson is, what did you add to your game? Did you add a post game where you could shoot it? Did you add a mid-range game? Did you add the ability to be able to put on a dribble, at least finish at the rim with at least a layup or a dunk? if he don't add nothing to his game, so because of all of those things, I just can't legitimately keep Miami in the top 6. And a lot of everybody else got better.
I agree with that. And I think another wild card for them is he came back late for them is Victor Oladipo. I'm curious to see if he's able to completely bounce back from his injuries last year because I believe he came back I think he came back during the playoffs, I think, right?
Yeah, he came back during the playoffs.
Yeah. So they do have that wild card, but yeah, I think there's a lot of inconsistency with obviously with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and Kyle Lowry. I mean, he's no young man, right? So who knows how long he's going to be able to hold up.
Right.
And I just expect a little bit of decline from Jimmy Butler. I still like Bam. I still like what he can bring, but like I said, I do expect them to decline because really, like you said, a lot of other teams in the conference has gotten better, and they really haven't. So and obviously I think they were one of the contenders to try to pull a trigger on the possible Kevin Durant trade. And I feel like they might have been rumored in on something else. So I believe they were trying to,
better the team.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, Pat Riley's. I give it to Pat Riley. He's always gonna try. He's gonna make an effort, and sometimes he's gonna pull it off, right? So,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, for a Cavs sake, I hope we're both right about them. You got them in the
In the play-in.
the 7 through 10 spot, and
Yeah.
I got them at 6. So
Yeah, because for that 7 through 10, since you just mentioned that, that 7 through 10, I'm looking at hold on, let's go Eastern Conference. I'm looking at Miami, Toronto, and Chicago. At 7 through 10. And then wait, 7. I'm missing a number. That's only 7 through 9. 7, 8, 9.
Right.
And then the other one I got. Now see, for that spot, so okay, why do I got Chicago down here? Chicago is down here because we don't know when Ball's going to come back. I didn't see good synergy between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine last year. And I didn't see them really implement Vucevic in a way that could be more beneficial to them. And I think a lot of that had to do with Ball going down and Pat Williams being out for the first half of the year. However, though, they do got a nice little bench with DeSamu and Karis LeVert. I mean, not Karis LeVert. Alex Caruso. I don't know why I mixed them seeds up. But I don't know how they're gonna put it all together. Toronto, everybody more higher on Toronto than I am. I'm so sorry, man. Toronto got some nice little players over here. But who's the number one scorer on that team? Because Van Fleet is not a number one scorer on the playoff team. I don't think Siakam is the number one scorer on a title contender team. I think he'd be number one scorer on the playoff team. I don't think that's impossible. But on the title contender team, no. But they would be a good 2 and 3. So are you saying Scotty Barnes is going to be your number one scorer? Are you telling me Gary Trent Jr. is going to be your number one scorer? OG Anunoby, is they going to be your number one scorer? I think if Toronto going to crack the top 6, they got to be the best defensive team in the league. Period. You know what I mean? So that's why I got them down there. Who I say? Toronto. I said Miami. I said Chicago. And so the last team, right? As much as I want to say Charlotte, I'm actually going to say Washington, the Wizards, with the last play-in one. Because you got Beal and Porzingis, and I'm sorry, if them two can stay healthy a whole year, you're talking about 2 guys that can get you 25 points a game. Period. So now you add in Kyle Kuzma. You got Rue Hachimura. You got Danny Avdija. They brought over Monte Morris and Will Barton when they traded KCP to Denver. You know what I'm saying? So that team, I think that team looking. I mean, you saying you starting Monte, Beal, Kuzma, let's just say Rue, and Porzingis, or you start Porzingis and then you start Thomas Bryant. Bro, that's crazy. They got two twin towers down there. You got a two that can light it up at any point in time. You got a defensive one, and Kuzma gonna give you buckets. So I think Washington is the team to look out for as a surprise team in the East this year.
I like that. I was looking at this. I was looking at this the teams as you was talking, and I was looking at Wizards. I was like, Wizards could do something. So I like that pick.
We ain't talked about the West. We ain't talked about the West. How you feel about the West?
Well, so let me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen any major additions out west, right? I mean,
Christian Wood went to Dallas.
Okay, true. That's
Denver.
one.
Denver made that trade and got Ish Smith and KCP.
That's right. Yeah.
Andre Ayton went back to Phoenix.
Right.
Danny Green went to Memphis. New Orleans, I mean, they got whatchamacall at the end of last year. I mean, before the trading deadline with McCollum, but they also added the young rookie guy. What is his name? Dyson Daniels.
Oh, okay.
Dyson Daniels. The Clippers acquired John Wall.
Right.
Minnesota got Rudy Gobert. You got Jeremy Grant went to Portland. We know what OKC did with all their draft picks. Houston drafted Jabari Smith and what's my guy from LSU? I liked him too. Damn, hold on, let me go in here and get his name. Tari Eason. So if I'm looking at it from what I'm standing, you got Phoenix, Memphis, and this ain't no particular order. I'm just thinking of the top 6 teams that could be in the playoffs. Phoenix, Memphis, Golden State, Minnesota, Clippers. And I'm having a hard time picking between Dallas and Denver as the 6th team. Because Denver's getting back Jamal Murray, and I think that moves the needle for them tremendously. But Dallas getting Christian Wood, I think is really impactful too. So
even though they lost Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, they got Spencer Dinwiddie.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, and what other guard? And then Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back. You got Dory Finney-Smith. Now, and they got Jaden Hardy. Damn, they got Brandon Knight too. So I feel like Luka gonna play the point, and they got guys that can come in and at least play a point guard role, whether it's just facilitating and defense or just scoring. But that they 2, 3, and 4 positions is so lethal in my opinion, because you got Tim Hardaway Jr., you got Reggie Bullock, and let's just say Dory Finney-Smith, right? All those guys are athletic and can shoot to a degree. So then you got Dalvis Bertans, you got Josh Green, you got Dwight Powell, Christian Wood, they got JaVale McGee. So Dallas looked nice, but again, once Luka come off, I don't know how impactful they're gonna be. Do they decide to start Spencer or do they start Tim Hardaway? You know what I'm saying? Like it's really it's really crazy.
So when I'm looking at the conference, I still think it's Golden State's to lose, right? I think the conference is really gonna dictate uh their health and how good they are, right? I mean, and I'm sitting here looking at them. We all know they starting lineup: Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, right? But their bench. I mean, they got Jordan Poole, they got Dante DiVincenzo, um, Kaminga,
Mobley, Kaminga, Wise.
Wiseman, Moody. I mean, Moody is listed as their third small forward. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, these dudes, I mean, long as they stay healthy, long as health and age don't catch up with these dudes. And to me, they got the youth. They got the youth to offset that. Oh, and they got Jermichael Green.
Oh, they got Jermichael Green?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that's ugly.
You know, so I don't really want to talk about. I just don't think it's up for grab. I mean, the rest of the playoff spots is worth talking about, but I just think when it comes to that, it's going through Golden State. It's theirs to lose.
Okay, so who your 2 and 3?
I'm going to say Memphis, and I am going to jump out on the limb, and I'm gonna throw a curveball, and I'm gonna bump the Pelicans up as number 3.
You got the Pelicans at 3. Okay.
And but when I say that though,
You say that with a healthy Zion.
Yeah, healthy Zion, and just record wise. That don't mean I'm not saying that this team could be in the Western Conference Finals. I just like a healthy Zion. I like how they I like that who didn't they play Minnesota in the first round of playoffs last year?
In the play-in.
Was that a playing game?
No, Memphis and Minnesota.
No, New Orleans, because New Orleans
was in the play-in. They didn't make it to the playoffs. They played Minnesota in the play-in.
And they lost?
Yeah,
That's
they lost.
right.
They did. Yeah, they lost.
Let me look at that again. That's right. They were eighth seed. I don't know why I thought they played. I don't know why I thought. But they did have a tough game against Minnesota, though. I think that's what it was. I think them with a healthy Zion, I think they're gonna win a lot of regular season ball games. I don't know how that's gonna translate come playoff, but I like having McCollum for a full season with Brandon Ingram, a healthy Zion, and Valanciunas. I even like their bench. Alvarado,
Herb Jones, Dante Graham.
Yep. Larry Nance Jr. and Jackson Hayes.
Larry Nance Jr. and Jackson Hayes on that bench. That's underrated. That's nice.
Yeah. So I think they're gonna win. I think they're definitely gonna step it up from the play-in. I think they're definitely gonna get
New Orleans at 3. I'm gonna say this: if New Orleans get 3, Dyson Daniels is by far the rookie of the year, for sure. He is rookie of the year if they 3, because. So I have no debate for Golden State. Just going with your top 3. I have no debate for Golden State. I don't have a debate for Memphis either. So I like them 2 right there. But you saying New Orleans gonna leapfrog Minnesota and Phoenix?
Yeah, I think Phoenix is gonna take a step back regular season wise. But it might be to their benefit though.
Yeah.
Because
you get the lower seeds, you get more favorable and you get less pressure.
Well, that too, but also I think that I think it's gonna catch up with Chris Paul. Chris Paul is broken down by the playoffs. Even if he doesn't get hurt significantly where he misses a lot of time, come playoffs, I think he's normally spent, man. I think he's exerting a lot. So I think they should. I think they should play Cameron Payne more
Or
and
Alfred Payton.
and spell Chris Paul and try to keep him fresh come playoff time. That's my outlook on them. That's probably not how Chris Paul rolls, or you know what I'm saying. That may not be
Right.
how they look at it, but because he's their engine, man. Without them, they're not as good as they've been the last 2 years, man.
That's a fact.
You know,
So
and
how far you got them falling from 1?
oh man, I'll put them at 4.
4?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll put them at
So
4.
that's interesting. You know what's so crazy? I mean, I still got Phoenix as a top 3. I think from the order it was last year, it's gonna reverse. A healthy Golden State, healthy Memphis 1. I think Phoenix falls to 3. But I think you could have a point with them falling to 4 because I think the Clippers are being slept on. The addition of John Wall that moves what's that boy name? Reggie Jackson to the bench. Bruh. John Wall has a chip on his shoulder. He done set out the last 4 years.
Right.
And from what I'm seeing, what I've been seeing the last 3 off seasons, his jumper done improved. Like he confident with it, it's done improved. So if John Wall hitting threes, bro, if he coming off from half court, you know what I'm saying, coming across half court, he just pulling up at the 3 with regularity and it's going in, we already know John Wall one of the fastest players in the league. We already know he one of the most talented passers in the league. All right, so that makes him unguardable. But that also makes him the third option on the team. So now we talking Paul George back fully healthy, Kawhi Leonard back fully healthy. They brought back Zubac. They still got Batum. I think they lost the Morris brother, I think.
They still got him.
They still got Morris. And then you got Robert Covington over there. Yeah, they still got him. You got Norman Powell over there. You know what I'm saying? Rodney Hood. I just think if the Clippers hit the ground running, bro, they could contend for one of them top 2 spots. But I like them at 3. So and that's just more in support of Phoenix falling. I think that's very legit because I like I say Golden State, Memphis, and the Clippers. I think those are teams to beat in the West right now.
Yeah. Phoenix lost to Dallas in the second round, right?
In the conference. I mean, in the second round. Yeah, in the second round.
Dude, I mean, no disrespect to Dallas, but with the injuries they had and the lineup that they was using, I was really disappointed that Phoenix lost that series to them, man.
You know why they lost that series, though, right?
Nah, refresh my memory.
Because DeAndre Ayton wanted the number 1 scoring option. That's why. Listen, you're going against Dallas, right? They got Dinwiddie, Luka, Dory Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, all in that backcourt. So what made you think? What made Phoenix think, or Monty Williams think that putting them straight up, putting his 2 stars straight up against those 4 was going to work? But you had all the mismatch in the world with DeAndre Ayton in the post going against Bertans and Kleba, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like bro, DeAndre Ayton should have averaged 25 and 20 in that series.
I agree.
But he is not the number 1 or number 2 scoring option on that team, which is what hurts them the most, in my opinion.
You think he's capable of it?
Absolutely. DeAndre, so I'm gonna tell y'all a fun fact. I played basketball against DeAndre Ayton before he got drafted. I didn't know who he was. I moved to Phoenix and I went out to Glendale. They got this big, beautiful ass park out of Glendale. Okay. I get up there, and it's these two big, tall ass African dudes, right? And I don't know if they was African or not, but just the way it was just like, oh, they may not be from the US. But bruh, when I tell you post spin, post post fadeaway, hook shot, you know what I'm saying? Pull up from three, hit it with the pump fake, pull up off the dribble. Bruh, and he was like, this was in like 2014, 2015. So I think Adrian, he was like a junior still. I don't think he had even made it, got to the senior year yet. Bruh, Aiden got game. You know what I'm saying? Aiden even got a little dribble. But you don't see that because of how they run the squad. So I think if they let DeAndre Aiden play the way he play, he's on a level with MB, in my opinion.
For me, I have to see it to believe it, I guess.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think he should be. I think he should be their one option, if not the second option. I mean, I still think Booker's the best player on the team, though. But I think Aiden, in order for them to keep to 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 be as good as they should be, I think he has to be the one or two option, though, if not the second option. I think Chris Paul being the second option, second best player on the team, I think that's gonna be their downfall. So I was just so just when I looked at that roster, and especially when I was like, okay, I can see if Dallas had Hardaway and the injuries that they had, if they was at
Right.
full strength, then I could see it. But I was just like, man, Aiden should be killing Dwight Powell and Bertans and did they have Jamel McGee last year too?
They did. They
Okay,
did.
they did, but
Yeah.
he was kind of but Dwight Powell. Well, Dwight Powell was really starting, but Maxi Kleber
Maxi Kleber.
and
Yeah.
Dwight Powell was the ones that was starting.
They were.
Yeah, so I agree. He should have been tearing them up inside, in my opinion.
But they used Aiden like he Clint Capella, which
Yes,
was his issue with the
I
team.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? But now that they didn't sign that 133 million, he got to be the number two scorer. No way you could pay a guy that money and not make him one of the top options on the team. You know what I'm saying? He making more than Chris Paul right now. He got to be the number two option. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
And Monty Williams, their coach, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk Industry Sports. You feel me? I'm up here with Calvin Bobo. Appreciate him being up here. He always bring good insights while we here. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat or listening in. You know what I'm saying? All the subscribers and viewers is always welcome and highly appreciated. We sitting here just going over the NBA. We talked a little Cavs and Eastern Conference, but now we just going over the Western Conference and seeing what we think about how it could go or how it could play out with all the offseason moves and stuff like that. Training camp is about 2.5 weeks away. Preseason starts is about 4 to 5 weeks away. So it's about to be real interesting in the NBA. Cal, I want to ask you about Minnesota. They made the big trade for Rudy Gobert, trading 4 first-round picks and a 5th pick swap, and giving up a host of players: Patrick Beverly, Kessler Edwards, Malik Beasley, all to acquire Rudy Gobert. So how do you think he fits on this Minnesota team, and how does that move the needle from them from a team that was a play-in a team last year that ended up making the playoffs?
Well, I think that was a lot to give up for Rudy Gobert. I wouldn't have done it. Um, I think I see why they done it. I believe they done it. They did it so that um, Towns doesn't have to play the 5 anymore. It seems to me he wants to be a 4 and want to be on the perimeter a little bit. That's the only thing I can think of is why they went to such great lengths to acquire him, right? I mean, but I look at the rest of their lineup. I mean, they still got a good lineup, right? They got Anthony Edwards. Um, they got D'Angelo Russell, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, looks like they got Kyle Anderson now.
They do.
Yeah.
Brent Forbes. They added who I seen. They got Greg Monroe on this roster. When the last time you heard that name? They still got Torian Prince. They added Eric Pascal. They got Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers. Oh, came from Denver. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like their lineup. They better win some games. They better get I think they should based off of their starting lineup. I think they should definitely they shouldn't have to worry about a play-in. They should be one of the top 6 teams.
They should be.
But I think the West is tight. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't though. I wouldn't be surprised if they're fighting for their playoff lives again in the play-in.
My biggest issue with Minnesota is the point guard position. As much as I like D'Angelo Russell's offensive game, he is not a point guard. He does not have point guard mentality. He is a 2 guard. So him and Ant-Man at the 2 and 3 with Gobert and Towns at the 4 and 5 or 5 and 4 respectively. I think that is amazing. Okay, because D'Lo and Towns can give you 20 a night. Period. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even got to debate that. But they don't have a facilitator. And I feel like that is going to be their issue. What type of system is they running? You know what I mean? And to me, if Gobert is not an offensive threat like that, but he is so defensively impactful, okay? D'Lo is not a defensive guy. Ant-Man is about the only two-way player on that starting lineup, even though Anthony Towns has two-way possibility. But to me, man, what they do because if you're gonna start D'Lo, then who you starting at the 2? You starting Brent Forbes? You starting Austin Rivers? Does Ant-Man play the 2 when you start Jaden McDaniels at the 3? Or Kyle Anderson at the 3? Does Ant-Man have enough of a handle like that to be playing the 2? Is he more of a mismatch with him at the 3? So I think Minnesota ceiling. I think Minnesota, if they play firing all cylinders, they could contend for a top 3 spot. I think. Do I think that's they will this year? Nah. But I do like. I think they were in a position like the Cavs, right? Where you've been picking in the lottery so long. You already got good young core players. You know what I'm saying? You adding more young players doesn't put you over the needle. Or doesn't move the needle for you or put you over the hump.
Hey, Trent. Hey, my battery about to go on my Bluetooth
headset. Your headphones?
Yeah, let me I'm gonna drop and I'm gonna join right back, okay?
All right, bet, bro. Yeah, man. This Minnesota team, y'all. And make sure y'all follow Kyle. If y'all catch him on Facebook or Twitter or whatever the case, man, make sure y'all following. Real humble guy, real knowledgeable. It's always a pleasure when he come up here. I'm definitely hoping he able to come right back. You know what I'm saying? So we can get our final thoughts before we start to end the stream. DeeTrynt, Changa Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. Like I said, I appreciate everybody who chimed in and come in, who watch. It's highly appreciated. Anytime you want me to talk about your specific team and break it down, definitely let me, definitely inbox me. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on any social platform. Leave a comment under the YouTube or wherever you viewing it from. You know what I'm saying? And and we had talk about that. Um, uh, this Western Conference though for the basketball is gonna be crazy because usually the West is about um usually the West is about 9 to 10 players deep. I mean 9 to 10 teams deep. Appreciate that, bro. Um, I this Western Conference, bro, this about to be really interesting. Okay, because Utah is not gonna be up here, but we didn't talk about Portland. We didn't talk about Sacramento, and we didn't talk about the Lakers. Um, and Sacramento looks a lot better this year. I mean, for those who don't know, all right, Sacramento got De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Herter. They drafted what's my guy name? Keegan Murray. They got Domantas Sabonis. They signed Malik Monk. They got Jeremy Lamb. They still got Rashawn Holmes. They got Terrence Davis, Harrison Barnes, Quinn Cook, and what's my boy Metu. So they listen. Sacramento could be one of those teams that come in and give a lot of teams in the West problems because you don't really think that they're gonna come out like that. Portland, all right. You getting back a healthy Dame. You gave him a Jeremy Grant. They signed Chris Dunn. They still got Josh Hart. They got Joe Ingles now. Ben McLemore. Nurkic, I still got my questions about. Gary Payton II should be a really good acquisition for them. Anthony Simons just got paid, so he's probably going to be trying to do his thing. I don't know what's up with Justice Winslow. I thought he was going to end up turning into something. He hasn't. I don't know if he ever will. I mean, it just depends. Maybe he could have the Marvin Williams type of resurgence, after about 10 years and it finally clicked for him and he found a role. Kyle, I'm talking about Portland right now and they squad. That's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So Portland, I was just talking about Sacramento before that, saying that Sacramento could probably make some noise. They got De'Aaron Fox over there with some bonus, but then they drafted Keegan Murray. They acquired, or no, did they trade for Kurt Herter? No, I think they signed Herter, and they signed Malik Monk. They still got Rashawn Holmes over there. You still got Harrison Barnes. So I think they got a nice, talented team over there. What you think about Sacramento squad?
I like what you're telling me. My only concern is if you take them, you got the Lakers. And who else did we just?
Portland.
Who was that at my door? Portland. If you take all those teams, it's gonna be a dogfight as far as who's gonna who's gonna take up all those spots because it's right now we're looking at 12, 13 teams deep possibly. Because out of the playoff teams, the only one who take a step back is obviously Utah, who was a 5
and San Antonio.
Yeah. Hey, hold on for me real quick, okay?
Go ahead, bro. You good? Yeah, no, Sacramento. Sacramento. Yeah, no, Utah and San Antonio. San Antonio traded away DeJounte Murray. He went to Atlanta, as you all know. All right. But they still got what they drafted Malachi Branham. Zach Collins should be coming back pretty healthy. They got Devin Vassell and what's my guy Keldon Johnson, which I think is two guys that's emerging. The Jeremy Shohan guy. We got to see what he gonna do. They got Joshua Primo over there, Romeo Langford. Because it's Popovich, I mean, you could definitely see. What's good, Scully? Appreciate you chiming in, bro. San Antonio ain't gonna make no noise. You know what I'm saying? But they got that Popovich coaching, so anything's possible. You know, the sports media talk about the Lakers so much. I tend to try not to talk about the Lakers. But since we going through the Western Conference, how can we not talk about the Lakers? It's kind of like not real. I don't know what to think about this team, bro. I'm not gonna even hope. And the biggest reason why is because I don't know what they're gonna do with Russell. My Russell suggestion was they trade him to Indiana and get back Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. And I was hoping that Indiana buys him out. And I said he should go to Milwaukee. Play the point in Milwaukee. Move Drew to the 2, where I think he plays the best at. Move Middleton to the 3, where I think he best at. And I think they formidable. But I even go out and say, if that does happen and Russell get bought out, I wouldn't mind to see him in Minnesota. But
So you thinking the Lakers might buy him out?
No, I think the Lakers need to trade him to somebody that's gonna buy him out.
Got you. Okay.
You know, OKC is a team that interests me when it comes to Russell Westbrook. Because I wouldn't be shocked if OKC took on Russell and sent them a couple draft picks. It's because for one, they got so many. But for two, if you put Russell Westbrook on that squad at OKC, man, they're gonna be exciting to watch. In my opinion. Shea get to play the 2, Lou, Josh Giddey at the 3. Chet not playing this year, obviously, because that. Hold on, let me pause right there. Why did Chet Holmgren think that he could body up with LeBron?
Was that really a body up though? Like it was like a fast break play, right? And he was just trying to defend them, right?
But why? Why? Why are you y'all are at a celebrity game? Okay? Let's just call it what it is. You're at a celebrity game. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to check LeBron on a fast break for any reason? LeBron is tough to guard half court with one step in front of you. And you give him a whole half a court to pick up steam? That's just just wasn't smart to me, man. It just wasn't the move. But you know, that's just something that interests me though. Seeing Russell go back to OKC. I guess it's more of a feel good story than it is make any basketball sense.
So let's since we both agree that it's Golden State's conference to lose, who is their biggest threat?
Memphis, without a doubt. Memphis and the Clippers, in my opinion. Because even though regardless of who Golden State plays, they usually have the better backcourt. The Clippers have the better forward positions, especially if they go Paul George at the 3, Kawhi at the 4. That's a problem. And if you put George at the 2 and Wall at the 1, then Klay Thompson is basically evened out. if John Wall plays anything like that's another even out. So now you got Kawhi against whoever in that lot. That's a mismatch. I don't care who you say. Draymond not shutting him down. Looney not shutting him down. Wiggins definitely not shutting him down. Wait, hold on. Scully asks, he say Westbrook to Milwaukee or the Sixers. What you think about that?
For Westbrook, I don't know about the Sixers. I don't know about either one of those squads, man. I don't know how does that
work?
I don't know. How does that work, man? I don't see either one of those as being I mean, I'm not trying to take away from anything from Westbrook, but I'm wondering how those teams operate today and how those teams their makeup today. I just think that you have to change your offense has to change when you incorporate a Westbrook.
With Phoenix, I said Phoenix. With Philly, yes. I don't think it makes sense with Philly at all. Because of that's a half court team. With Milwaukee, though, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense. For one, Westbrook likes to push the ball and run the floor. So if you're telling me that Westbrook and Giannis going to be running a fast break, I'm sorry for every opposing defense in the league. Because I don't know how you come out of that situation without fouling or giving up a basket. Drew Holiday at the 2. I feel like he is most a threat playing a shooting guard. And I think Milwaukee needs a guy that can push the rock and facilitate. I like Drew Holiday as a passer, but I don't think he's the type of passer they need.
So Scully says Westbrook has to come off the bench from now on. I guess that's his
for Philly,
for probably Philly or Milwaukee. I mean, that's what I'm assuming he means by that. I didn't really think about it that way. But I'm not sold that he's gonna be traded or bought out as a Laker. I think he stays a Laker for the rest of the season.
So you think he stays a Laker?
I do. I think if he was going to get moved to the Lakers' benefit, I think it would have had to transpire this offseason. Because he is clearly now he's just going to be. Now anything can come up during the season to where he can be a salary saver for an organization who wants to dump a contract and take on his contract, so they'll be relieved of that salary going into next summer. That's always a possibility. But right now, I'm thinking that I think it's in the Lakers' best interest just to make it work with what they got, since they wasn't able to make any moves this offseason. Obviously, I think the biggest move they wanted to make was getting Kyrie over to LA, and that obviously didn't happen. So
yeah, I don't even see why that came up though, bro. Because I don't understand how you thought Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook was about to play on the same team again. That just didn't make no sense.
Well, I think that was the problem. They made that transaction. They gave it no traction was because they wasn't willing to take Westbrook back, right? So you obviously would have needed a third team to help facilitate that, or probably a fourth team. It took a bigger trade than just them two teams, right? So, I think and my biggest thing is Anthony Davis and LeBron James missed a lot of playing time, right? I know LeBron missed at least 30 games, right?
Right.
I think if LeBron don't miss 30 games, I think they definitely make the playoffs. I'm not saying they won't go out in the first round. I don't know. But I think they definitely would have had more wins in the win column. They would have more W's in the win in that column, and I think they would have made the playoffs one way or another. So
yeah, no,
I'm looking at them to. I'm looking at them to hold on to Westbrook and see what happens with and obviously it'll be a done deal after this year because I know he's 40-something mil a year, right? Yeah, and obviously this will be the last year of that, so he'll be able to.
Mil will look good back to the Lakers salary cap,
right? Which they don't turn around and try to spend it real quick, right? Because they gonna stay in win now mode. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and if he do get moved, that would be more like a trade and deadline move after everybody we didn't kind of seeing what's happening in the league. So I can see that him not getting moved at all this year, or if not till the trade deadline. We still got a couple weeks before training camp starts, so ain't no telling what we can see. But how would you think about? Let's just say hypothetically he gets moved and bought out, because to me that's probably the most likely scenario of anything if he get traded. Could you see him coming off the bench in Philadelphia?
I don't.
How do you justify starting Tyrese Maxey over Russell Westbrook?
I agree. I don't see a justification.
And he would definitely improve that bench. But I don't see Russell agreeing to come off the bench.
I have to agree with you again on that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, and I don't think he a locker room cancer or nothing. I just don't see him coming off the bench. Man, so Cal, let me ask you, man, when your next free day, bro?
My next free day. Wednesday.
Oh, that sounds like
this Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, this Wednesday is my next free day, and I'm kind of
tied up.
Yeah, I may have some free time on Thursday, in the AM.
AM.
But I got a trip to Oklahoma City this Friday, so I'll be out of pocket Friday and Saturday this week.
Okay, yeah. So let's shoot for Wednesday then. Wednesday we come back, gather some more sports stories. Let's see what's going on. I have some interesting topics for them. I am DeeTrynt. This is GameChanga Sports Talk on InDaStreetzSportz. Co-host Calvin on here. It's always a pleasure to have you on here, Kyle. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you chiming in, bro. You always bring some good knowledge to the table. It's greatly appreciated over here, my guy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Like I say, thanks for everybody viewing. If you didn't catch the whole thing, you'll be able to replay it on all social media platforms, Facebook, InDaStreetzSportz page, Twitter, either on the DeeTrynt page or the InDaStreetzSportz, or on the InDaStreetzSportz page. But you can definitely subscribe to us on Spotify and Anchor and catch the upload right after that. Also, go to the InDaStreetzSportz.com. We have all our sports stories and articles. Definitely check those out. Chime in, let us know what you want. And feel free to hit me up, man. If you want me to write something to talk about your team, man, feel free to hit me. If you want to come up here, and show your face and speak your piece about your team and how you feel about what's going on, feel free to do that too, man. It's always a pleasure. Everybody stay safe. One love. Cal, you got any closing thoughts?
Man, just go Cavs, man. Hope, go Cavs, and I hope next month, man, they'll get off and running, and we'll see what the season brings with their new trade.
That is a fact, man. Go Cavs, man. So y'all be cool. We gonna end this off. It's one love. Please stay safe, stay blessed. You know what I'm saying? And if I give any words of advice, man, men broken bridges. We only get one life, okay? We don't never get to dictate when it begins or when it ends. You know what I'm saying? So if you got silly beef or something with people, man, go ahead and end that off, man. You never know how prosperous that could turn out for you. You know what I mean? So y'all be safe, be easy, one love, and catch y'all next one.